All right, video number 3. Let's start a new one. Don't save. We don't need to save any of this mess. And let's paste a mixer. So this is a small sound mixer. Now, if we go to Google, we can see that there are massive sound mixers out there. Look at this huge monster. How many channels is this? Who knows? But this guy also really huge, right? Look at this huge mixer over here. It's amazing. That thing is huge. Look at that. It's crazy. And there are also tiny little ones. Look at this cutie. Tiny guy. Look at this one. 2-channel mixer. Excuse me. So there are all sorts of mixers, but what I want you guys to understand and to be comfortable with is that regardless of whether you have a tiny little 2-channel mixer or a ginormous 52-channel mixer, the concepts are very similar between them. So let's see. So this is a mixer, right? And let's bring this down a little bit. Let's bring this down a little more, and let's zoom out. So the concept for all the mixers are basically the same thing here. We have a source, and we're gonna make our first source a female singer. And she is smiling because she finally got her chance to sing at church. Let's give her a dress, actually. She's an apostolic. And we're gonna give her a microphone. She's holding up a microphone right here. She's praising God. She's even got a halo above her because she's holy. All right, anyways, so the microphone is gonna be connected to this first channel. Ta-da! And that is there. Now let's just say that, just so that we have another thing going on for us, we have a piano player that is sitting right here on a little stool. Little stool is right there. That's a little stool. And then he is back here, but let's make it look a little more realistic. All right, there we go. And then his hands are right, one hand right here, one hand right here, and he's worshiping God, yeah. But he goes to a cool church, so he actually has a cap on, and he's chilling. All right, so then the piano is gonna be connected to channel number 2. Right. So then we're gonna zoom in a little bit. Look, he's just so chill. He's got his eyes closed. All right. And we have this, okay? So now when we connect things to our mixer, oh yeah, by the way, this is point number 2, mixer. When we connect things to our mixer, the signal comes in from this part and it goes down the line this way. Down the line this way, right? And then it's gonna get to this level here, and then from here it's gonna go down the line this way, and down the line this way, and down the line this way, and down the line this way, down the line this way, and it's gonna get to here. Right, this is where it's gonna go, and then we're gonna erase this. Actually, we're gonna erase this. These Photoshop skills. And then the signal is gonna go in through here on the inside, and it's gonna go to the main out, left and right. And then this is gonna go to, I don't know if you guessed it or not, but it's gonna go to our, what was next on the list? Our amplifier, our amp, okay? So that's how it works. We got the source. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can see everything. We got our source, and it's connected into the mixer, and it's going down, and then it's going this way, and then it's going in here, and then out to the amp. Now, what else could possibly be happening? So then, here, let's start a, I don't know if we should start a new one or if we should just drag this down. I think we should just drag this down. Lord, this is gonna take forever. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Be patient. Take a chill pill, Miguel and Flor. Let's paste another mixer on here. Okay, I'm gonna paste this mixer on here, and we're gonna zoom in, and we're gonna analyze all of the components of the mixer. Here we go. Okay, I hope this is big enough for you. Hopefully you guys can see this. So something is connected here, and this for some reason says trim, but the first thing so this also can be called gain, or trim, I guess, because it says trim there, so that's what it's called there. So the first thing in the mixer is going to be a little knob. Typically, the first thing in the mixer is a little knob that says gain. And we're going to forget about this for now. Don't worry about that for now. Then the second thing is going to be a thing called, oh my goodness, I must be dyslexic because I'm writing backwards, EQ, or equalizer, right? So the gain is this guy here. The equalizer is this. So this is the equalizer, right? And then there are going to be some, oh my God, horrible with numbers. There are going to be some routing options, which means where you're sending the signal. And then also after the routing, there are going to be effects. We're just going to put FX, but they're effects like reverb, like chorus, like delay. And then this one is right here, actually, the effects. Similar color to the routing option, but it's effects. And then we have a pan. I don't know what pan stands for, but what pan does is it basically, see how this is all the way to the L? This is to the L. All of these are to the L for some weird reason. Pan, basically, you want to have it in the middle, because if not, that means that you're telling the mixer that all of the information that's coming in, let's just say this is a piano plugged in here, channel 1, then it's going to go down this line. And if you have it all the way to the left, that means that you're only going to get sound on your left speaker. If you have it all the way to the right, that means you're only going to get sound on your right speaker. So sometimes it's useful, right, for very specific uses, but we don't really need to get into that right now. But pan basically decides whether the sound goes to the left or to the right. And then finally we have our volume fader. So that is this guy here, volume fader. All right, and then notice, or just not notice, but take note of this. Any little thing that you slide up and down, like this one, all of these are faders. And then these are just little knobs, okay? So now let's zoom out and let's talk about what each one of these does. So the gain is going to be our first one. Gain is basically, I don't know, what's the best way that I could explain this to you guys? So gain is gonna assign how much power or how much energy or how much, not volume, it's not volume, but how much power, energy, or electricity, or not amplification, I guess kind of like amplification, you're gonna assign to this instrument or singer or computer or whatever you plug into here. So the gain will determine not the volume, but how much signal you allow to pass, or you want to pass through this whole channel. So by the way, this is one channel, this is another channel, this is another channel, another channel. And so it might feel very daunting. This is a little side note. It might feel like a lot of information to learn all of this, but in reality, what you need to learn is one channel, one strip, because then if you learn this strip, if you understand what each of these knobs do, then you'll understand what these do, because it's the same thing, right? It's channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 4, channel 5, and it's got the same thing. So let's just focus on learning one strip, right? Forget about all of this business over here. We'll learn one strip. So gain is going to be equal to power, or going to be equal to energy, I guess you could say. energy. And meaning that the more gain you put up right here on this little knob, the more gain you put up right here, it's at 0 right now, but the more you put it up, the more power or energy or signal you will allow to go through the rest of this process, right? So it's signal first or source first, then gain. And the more gain you give your source, the more of it goes through here and down here, okay? And then the way you check that is you put the gain up, and ideally you will see things light up over here. These little lights will start to go off. And you want your gain or your total power, your total signal, your total energy to be somewhere here. You don't want it to be down here because that's too soft of a signal, and you don't want it to be up here because that's too harsh of a signal, and you're going to get crackling and distortion. So you want your gain to be set somewhere right here in the yellow. Okay, you want for the loudest part to still make it here, and you want for the softest part to still kind of be here. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is EQ. So EQ. Oh, this music is kind of cool actually. EQ. So your EQ is equalizer, and the way this works is you have your low frequency, low / mid. You have your mid frequencies. You have your mid high. This is an oversimplification, right? But just for learning purposes. And so your low frequencies are going to be like, hey, this is really low sounding, low. Then low, mid, right? Then mid, and then mid, high, and then high, really high, right? So that's what, so EQ has to deals with the frequency, right? So like that kind of, right? So then we break this up into sections. And when you have an equalizer, you can alter the way things are. Let's say our singer is singing, right? And then we're gonna go back a little bit. Let's say our singer is singing, and he's got a very, very deep voice, right? And so you're getting a lot of low frequency. See how this is higher, and then some low mids, and then almost no mid high. And so you can actually change how your sound is by altering these knobs. So this is your EQ, and you see how there's high and then there's mid and low. So this one doesn't give you too many options, right? It just gives you 3. But you can basically put the high up, and it doesn't mean that your speaker is now gonna sound like this because you put the high up really high, right? Or if you put the low down, your speaker's gonna sound like this. Oh my God, praise God, right? That's not what it means. What it means is that the overall sound that you're getting is now going to have, if you put the high up, is now going to have more of the higher frequency. So instead of being like this, all right, let's pick a different color. Let's say you put the highs, it's gonna look almost similar, right, like this. But then you put the high up, so it's gonna look like that. And now that means that you're gonna be perceiving a lot more of the higher pitches in the voice. So you might hear a lot more of a like praise the Lord, everybody, like really hissy, high pitched sounds, right? Let's just say that instead of doing that, let's just say, just for thinking purposes, that you bring the highs all the way down, right? So it'll look almost the same, but then the highs, you brought them down. So now you're not gonna get the high frequencies. Let's just say for a thinking exercise that you put the lows down all the way up, right? All the way up. So now it's gonna look like this. And let's just say you bring the highs down. So the lows are all the way up and the highs are down. And so what you're gonna get is you're gonna get a signal that sounds kind of like that, okay? So that probably sounded really horrible, and I'm sorry, but just to illustrate, what you're gonna get is a very muffled, deep, very hard to understand sound. So you have the ability to affect whether or not sound sounds clear, whether it sounds boxy, whether it sounds muffled, whether it sounds really high nasally pitch and hissy, by adjusting the equalizer. Okay, so hopefully this makes sense to you guys that are watching this video. And then the next thing that we're gonna talk about really quick is routing. Routing. So routing just means where... Oh my god, I'm horrible at writing. Routing means where the signal goes. So where the signal goes, meaning that this one, I'm gonna zoom in so you guys could see. This one says mon, which means not Pokemon, but means monitor. And if you look up here, somewhere in here, there's gonna be a monitor. Here we go, monitor. So this is mon and this is mon. So essentially what you could do is you can route the signal so that instead of going left and right out, you can have an extra monitor here. And this can be a little speaker. And actually what a good application for this monitor is where the singer is, there's a piano player, and then there's a guitar player, right? And then there's a bassist. Right? And then they're all happy and dancing and praising the Lord. Oh my God. Right, I'm sorry, these little stick people are kind of deformed, but you get the point, right? And usually the speakers are facing the audience. Let's just say there's a speaker here, there's a speaker here. Let's just make this our audience, okay? Use your imagination. Our audience is over here, and the speakers are facing our audience, right? And so they're getting this amazing sound and they're very happy, but the band cannot really hear very well because the speakers are facing away from them. They're behind the speakers, right? This is the altar, and then there's somebody praying here, and they're crying because they're being touched by the Lord. And there's another person here also crying. They're crying, so let's actually put little blue tears here. All right, so the problem with this is that the band cannot hear. So what can we do? Well, we can connect a monitor right here so that they can hear themselves. And then what we're gonna do is, let's say we have a singer here, we have a piano here, we have a guitar here, and we have a bass guitar here. You're gonna, maybe we're gonna put up the monitor over here. We're gonna put it up so that you can hear the singer on the monitor. So we're gonna put this up a little bit, and then we want the piano to also be heard on the monitor. So we're gonna put that up a little bit, and then we want the guitarist to be heard. So we're gonna put that up a little bit, and we want the bassist to be heard. So we're gonna put that up a little bit. So this has nothing to do with the main sound system, right? This is just a monitor that is an extra speaker so that someone else can hear it. What we can also do with this monitor is we can connect in-ear monitors, which are just headphones that would go to a person, right? So it's the same thing. So that's what we could do with the routing aspect of it, the monitor. And then we also have effects here. So effects it's kind of super easy to understand. Effects could be echo or reverb or delay, which delay would cause, you can have a delay that makes it sound like hello. It's different than reverb, where reverb is just held out like hello, right? So you can have like a flange effect, different effects, right? We don't need to get into what the effects are, but effects which make it sound different. And then we already said pan, which pan means that you're going to send your signal either only to the left side up here or only to the right side. Typically we want it to come out through both speakers, right? Because why would we want our church people to only hear the piano here, and then let's just say we pan the piano to the left, so now the piano only comes out through here, not through here, right? If we pan the piano to the right, only comes out through here and not through the left side. So that's what pan does. And then last but not least is the volume control. So this is different than gain, because gain is signal, energy, or electricity or whatever you want to think of, but it has nothing to do with volume. This is a volume fader, right? And in theory, this is just, what best practice is you want to have everything in what they call unity gain, which means if you were to take a ruler, this is not a very straight ruler, but if you were to, here, can we add a line here maybe? If you were to take a line and put it across, all of these faders should be touching the line, and in this case they are. So that is what they call, I think it's called unity gain. I'm not sure, but Meaning that if this first fader for some weird reason was, oh my god, I changed the line color. I did not want to. Okay, if this first fader was down here, oh no, I want a black color for that. If this first fader was down here, right? Let's just say this was down here, then potentially what this tells us is that there is too much gain, too much signal, and that's why we had to bring the fader down, because we're compensating for too much signal up here or too much gain. If the fader was up here, right, not in line with the rest of them, then what that means is that the gain is too low. So we need to put the gain up so that we can bring the fader down. Ideally, all of these have to be within that, touching that same line. And that is your volume fader, right? And then all of these are processed, like we said, in this direction, okay? And they go through these main mix outputs. These are outputs or just faders for the output. And then they all go here, right? That's the sound goes out through here. And in the next video, what we're gonna do is we are gonna talk about the next thing, which is first we had source, then we had source, then mixer, and then we're gonna talk about amplifiers for the next video. But this is a lot of info, and what I want you guys to do is to watch this video a few times and try to understand the concept of what a channel is, right? A channel, we said, is this. This is one channel. Oh, I kind of went over to this channel, but this whole thing is one channel, right? And it's repetitive. Each channel is the same thing. So understand the concept of a channel and kind of what it does, and then watch the video again if you have to, and look at the explanations for EQ, gain, routing, and all that. And once you understand it, let me know, and then I'll send you guys another video. All right, bye.